Hi, this is Tracy from GiftBasketappeal, and today I'm bringing you a design team project for Maymay Made It, and we're going to be making a fall card. So, let's get started. To create this card, I'm going to be using the Deck the Hall stamp set, and this is a Christmas inspired stamp set, but you can also use this if you have a calendar and you want to count down the days. There's lots of different ideas for this one. So this is great for a journal or a calendar, maybe leading up to Christmas or the counting down the holidays. It's got some really nice borders on it too. So I am definitely going to be using this again. For today's card, I'm just going to be using these really cute mini leaves. So I'm going to be creating a background using those. And then the other one I'm going to be using is Apple of My Eye. It's perfect for the fall because fall to me means apple picking. I'm going to be using the grass. And here's another leaf right here. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use this little apple where you can see the core inside of it. And it's got a really cute sentiment. I love you to the core, so I'm going to be using that. I think it's going to be perfect for this card. I'll be sure to list all of the supplies I use for this project below. This is going to be an A2 size card, so my card base is 5.5 inches by 4 1/4. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp out some apples, or at least one with the apple in the basket. And this is the cutest stamp. I've used this before. Okay, I'm going to get my Memento ink. Make sure that's inked up really good. I'm going to stamp one there, but I'm going to stamp another one just because even though I'm going to only use one, I can use this for a future card. So I'm going to be fussy cutting this. Okay, so I only need one. Okay, and I'm going to use my Copic markers here, and I'm going to color this in. So let me just zoom in to show you what I'm going to do. I think this is probably one of the fun parts of crafting, is getting to color some stuff in. Got my red apples, my red for the apples, okay. And I'm just getting situated here. I want to make sure my stamp, I like to clean my stamps like right away. And I'm just using a wet wipe on that to clean it off. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this. So I probably need the green also, and then the lighter brown to do this as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and start coloring this in. And on this, it has a tiny little stem, a little leaf on there, and I'm going to color that in green. So this has some really nice details on it. And then when I'm coloring, like for something like this, I like to like dot certain areas just because to me it's easier for me to get in between certain areas, and then I'll just go and color the rest in. And that's just something I do. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and with the green on here. And just the top of this is a little bit of green. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and color in the basket part. And I'm going to use a brown color to do the basket. And we want to get a darker color in here just to give it some contrast. Okay, and I'm going to use my white gel pen. And to me that just brings out that little piece of wood just a little bit more. And you don't have to do this, but I figure I'm going to just go ahead and do this just to give it a little bit more detail. Some dots on my apples here, right along the sides, so it almost looks like there's light shining down on it. And so that's what that looks like. It's all those little details that count. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this out, and then we're going to create our background. Okay, so this is all cut out, and we're going to mount this on our card, so I want to make sure that stays separate. We're going to go ahead and create a background on here. Now there is some grass on here. It's so tiny. And I don't know where, I have a smaller mounting block on here, acrylic block, but I can't find it right now, so I'll have to go back and find that. And we're going to make some green grass, but I'm going to go back in and color it in with some brown just because it's fall. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tape, because I don't want the grass to come all the way down to the bottom here. I want to leave just a little bit of a border on there. So let's see if I can get this straight. It's just some painter's tape I have lying around here. So I figured this is the best way for me to get a nice straight border on this. Okay, just like that. Oh. I have to see how much I want of the border on there. Let's do this again. Okay, that is perfect. And so the only reason I'm doing that is because I want my grass to come right to this edge. And the only way for me to do it that I know how is to just kind of have that on there. So you'll see in a moment what I'm doing here. Just positioning this so you can really see it. And I'm taking this green, it's called Mowed Lawn, so it's perfect. It's my Tim Holtz Mowed Lawn in green. So I'm just making some grass. So it allows me to stamp on here so my grass can be higher and lower. Also allows me to have a nice straight border at the bottom. And I'm not going to be going too close to the edge there because I want this to be able to sit right there. Make my grass higher. Okay. So that's the effect I was trying to get there. And let's see, I think I want just a little bit more, maybe on the sides here. Doesn't leave too much room for my basket, but I could actually put the basket right over it. It's okay. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like now. Just trying to wipe my stamp off as I go here. So when I take this off now, it's going to leave me a nice clean border at the bottom. So that's what I wanted. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try to get our background on here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got these really tiny leaves. And for me, the easiest way to do this was to mount several leaves on here in different positions. So I've got these real tiny ones. You probably can't see them very well because they're so small. But once I stamp them, you'll be able to see them. So I want them going in different directions, and I want them spread apart. And that way I can get several on here at one time. Have leaves going in different directions. And I'm going to use my Memento ink because I want the outline of them to be black. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go up and down this, almost like leaves falling off of a tree. Okay, I'm just going to wipe this because I don't want the sides to make a mess on there. And you see how I'm being random with this? Over here. And so if I want to go back, I can do some more. Just doing one or two. Let's see, right here. So I want it to look sort of random. Don't want it to be perfect. I'm just going to go here, even though my basket is going to cover that, that's okay. All right, so now, so I love to use the smaller stamps to make backgrounds just because to me it's just a lot easier to create a background. And it gives you that flexibility too in creating it. Okay, so that's what this basket is going to go right there. So let's fill in our grass a little bit and make some brown on there. Because of course in the fall, the grass starts to turn kind of a brownish color. And I'm just dotting it. I'm not really being neat here. And it works. And now we need some leaves for the fall. We need to color those in. So of course we need brown, orange, we need yellow and red. And so I'm just kind of spreading out my color because I don't want it to be so close together as far as the colors on this. And I probably don't even need to color this in because I know I'm going to put my basket over that. And I'm going to have my sign somewhere up in there, I think. I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring this in and show you what it looks like. Okay, and I'm just about ready to mount this on here, but before I do that, I feel like this needs a border on it. So I'm going to take, let's see, I'm going to take my red. Yeah, we could do a red border. And of course my dog is in here doing his thing. Okay, and I'm just about ready to mount this on here, but before I do that, I feel like this needs a border on it. So I'm going to take, let's see, I'm going to take my red. Yeah, we could do a red border. And of course my dog is in here doing his thing. Okay, and you see I went off right here on the side there, but I can fix that, I believe, or at least camouflage it. So when you're doing this, if you're making a border, just be careful with it. Okay, and we're done with that. So I went ahead and already stamped this out, and I'm going to put a scallop. This is just some paper from another project, but I'm going to put a scalloped border around here. So let's go ahead and mount this on. And I think my dog is ready to take a walk, which is why he's kind of restless. Okay, and look how pretty that background looks. It looks like leaves are blowing in the wind, and I thought this would be nice to mount on here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm using these mounting squares. They're 3D foam mounting squares, and this actually came from Maymay's store, and I really like them because they adhere extremely well. And yep, that looks really cute. I love that. And you see I'm kind of off kilter just a little bit over here. And just covering up that little part there too that I came off. So, okay, this one is also going to be mounted. Let's see. And I'll probably put it over here somewhere. But let's go ahead and make that edge on this. And I love this, the apple with the core in it. Okay, so let's see how big I want that to be. Okay, just straighten that up a little bit. You see, I use all my little scraps to make my, stamp out my sentiments if I need to. And that works perfectly. And of course it's going to need a border on it. So let's see. What can we do? I think I'll just do this. Actually, let's see if we could pull out some of the yellow that's in there. Yeah, we could put some yellow in there. Let's zoom in a little bit more. So I'm going to just put a little bit of yellow around the edges here. This is the really fun part, all of the coloring and stuff. So I'm just lightly brushing it. Just taking my Copic marker and lightly brushing it. Yep, that looks good. Wow, that looks really good. Looks like it has a little frame around it. And let's see, coloring that apple. I'm just going to trace in red right around the edge here. Because of course it's the inside of the apple, so that outside would be red. Almost trying to make it look like a heart. Since it says, "I love you to the core." It almost looks like a heart. Okay. And let's just outline this. Yep, and that red really brings it out there. But just that little bit of red. I'll do a little bit more. Okay, so that's what we have so far, and let's see, we can just mount this on here. Oh yeah, that's going to look really cute. I think it'll look better up here. Not in the center. I don't want to do it in the center. Okay. And look how pretty that looks. And I know I'm covering up some of my leaves, but that's okay. I'm going to use some green and go in on here and just put some dots in there. Just to make it real fun. And you can go have the dots close as you want, as well as far away. And I think I'm going to go in with some of these too. To bring out some on the leaves, I'm going to do this whole area here so that you can see what that looks like. Just do some random dots all over. And that's just another fun way to create a background, or at least fill in your background. So for every leaf, I'm just matching it with the matching dots on there. Some red. See, with card making, you can make up your own rules. And the orange. And the brown. Okay, and it's almost done. Just adding that little bit of detail there really helps it along. And of course, what would my card be without the stitching on it? Okay, and I'm just going to go over here. And look at that, just adding those few details really pulls it together. And just when you think you can't do anything else to this, I'm going to be using these Stardust stickles. And the nice thing about this is that it doesn't cover up the color of your stamp. It just kind of enhances it. I just want these leaves to just have a little bit of sparkle. I think I'm going to put some on here too. Okay. And look how awesome that looks. I wish you could see this in person because it's so sparkly. See if you can see that. Just looks like leaves sparkly and blowing in the wind. And I really like the way that looks, especially with this mounted. I did another one and I didn't mount it, but I like, both of them are nice, but I really like the one that's where the basket is mounted along with the sign. This one, I just left this flat and worked around it, but it still looks nice. So now you have a fall inspired card. I hope this inspired you. I will leave all of the details to everything that I used along with the link to Maymay's store, and go check it out. So thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and have a great day. Bye.